When a man finds himself with no one but God, he steps into a sacred realm where everything earthly loses its hold and eternity becomes more real than ever. This isn't just about being lonely. This is holy ground. It's where the soul wakes up to its true foundation. Not in people's approval, not in money, not in temporary comforts, but in the living, breathing presence of God alone. Some of the strongest men who ever lived found themselves in seasons of isolation before they saw God's promises unfold. Abraham left everything familiar behind to follow a voice he could not see. Joseph was betrayed, thrown into a pit, sold, forgotten before the dream God gave him came true. Elijah stood alone, surrounded by false prophets and wicked kings. They all walked through the wilderness, through the fires of solitude. But none of them were truly alone, and neither are you. The truth is, you are not abandoned. You are being refined. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. God is doing a deep work inside you, one that no human eye can yet see. That's why you cannot give up now. Don't curse the silence. Don't run from the stillness. Stay right where you are. Something sacred is happening. When the world leaves you behind, when friends fall away, when loved ones misunderstand you, and when you reach that moment where you whisper, God, I can't take one more step, that's exactly when heaven answers. That's when strength you didn't know you had rises up inside of you. That's when peace finds you, even if the storm doesn't stop, because you finally see the one who walks on water. Faith is not built in comfort, it is forged in contradiction. When everything around you says you're alone, but you still dare to believe you're held, that's real faith. When your heart whispers, I'm finished, but you still hear a still small voice say, I'm not done with you yet, that's unshakable belief. This is the kind of faith that the fires of life cannot destroy. And it's the kind of faith God treasures. He has always been the God who shows up when every other option is gone. He doesn't need the perfect setting. He doesn't wait for everything to look good. He steps right into the prison cell, right into the lion's den, right into the fiery furnace, not after the trial, but right in the middle of it. He's done it before, and he will do it again. You might be feeling invisible today. Maybe no one sees your pain. Maybe they admire your strength. But don't realize the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Maybe you're carrying silent battles no one else knows about. And maybe, just maybe, the enemy has tried to whisper that you're all alone. But hear me, you are not alone. You never have been. You never will be. God is closer than your next breath. He is the one who sticks closer than a brother. He is the one who will never leave you or forsake you. His eyes are on you right now. His hands are underneath you, catching every tear. There's a kind of prayer that only rises when a man has nothing left. It's not polished. It's not pretty. It's not rehearsed. It's raw. It's desperate. It's the kind of cry that says, God, if you don't show up, I won't make it. And friend, let me tell you, that prayer moves heaven. When you come to the end of yourself, you come to the beginning of grace. And grace is not some fragile religious idea. Grace is a power. It's a force. It's the hand of God pulling you out of the pit, not because you earned it, but because he loves you with an everlasting love. If you know deep down that you are standing on holy ground right now, type I trust God in the comments to declare it. I don't know what valley you're walking through today. I don't know what the silence sounds like in your home or what battles are raging inside your heart. But I do know this. If you have God, you have everything you need. When the noise of the world fades, when the people you depended on disappear, when the doors you thought would open slam shut, God remains. And he doesn't just remain, he restores. God isn't just a silent observer of your pain. He is the master architect, already rebuilding what feels broken beyond repair. He is the one who takes the ashes of your sorrow and trades them for a crown of beauty. He gives strength where weakness took over. He turns your mourning into dancing, your weeping into songs of joy. There is still a future for you. There is hope beyond this pain. There is life on the other side of this storm. But you won't find it chasing after human approval or temporary pleasures. You'll find it when you get alone with God, when you lay everything down at his feet and trust him with the deep places no one else even knows exist. You'll find it when you realize that the one who formed you, the one who counts every hair on your head, already holds your future in his hand. Don't despise this season you're in. Don't rush to escape the discomfort. Lean into it. Let it do its work. Let it strip away everything that can be shaken until all that remains is what's unshakable. Let it teach you that God is enough, that he always was, that he always will be. When the noise of the world fades and you are left alone with God, you will discover a strength, a peace, and a power that no circumstance can ever take from you again. This world is loud. It's full of opinions, distractions, and lies, trying to pull you in 1,000 directions. But when you sit in silence with God, the noise falls away. What's left is truth. What's left is love. What's left is real power. That truth will anchor you. That love will heal you. That power will fill you until it overflows. God's presence will do what no amount of human striving could ever do: heal your heart, steady your mind, and lift your soul to new heights. There will come a day, you'll see, when you'll look back on this wilderness season with tears of gratitude instead of pain. You'll say, it was in that lonely place that I truly learned how to hear his voice. It was in that darkness that I saw his light. It was when everyone else walked away that I realized God was the only one I ever needed. And when you walk out of this season, you won't walk out empty-handed. You'll walk out carrying something unshakable. A fire that can't be put out, a peace that doesn't make sense to the world. You will carry a testimony that wasn't written with easy days, but forged in fire. You'll speak with an authority that books can't teach and classrooms can't give. You'll walk into rooms filled with chaos, and the peace of God inside you will shift the atmosphere. People will wonder, how did you survive that storm? And with a smile, you'll say, I had no one but God, and that was enough. If you believe that God is doing something powerful even in your silence, type God is enough in the comments. You are not disqualified because you feel broken. You are not too far gone because you feel weak. You are not abandoned because you feel forgotten. In fact, right now you are standing at the perfect place for a miracle to unfold. When a man has no one left but God, that's when he becomes truly ready to be used by God. He's no longer leaning on shallow support systems. He's no longer chasing applause or empty validation. He's no longer wasting his strength on things that can never satisfy his soul. Instead, he is standing on the solid rock of God's truth, and that kind of man cannot be shaken. This is not the end of your story. It's the chapter that changes everything. Stay faithful. Stay humble. Stay available. God's not finished with you yet. Right now, he's writing something beautiful with your life. Even if all you can see are broken lines, trust the author. He finishes what he starts. And he's starting something deep inside you, something greater than what the world could ever offer. In the moments when you feel like nothing is happening, heaven is still moving. In the moments when you feel forgotten, you are actually being handcrafted for greatness. When a man walks through solitude, it's easy to believe the lie that he's been abandoned. The silence of an empty room, the absence of familiar voices, the heaviness of isolation, it can feel like a punishment. But what if it's not a curse at all? What if this very solitude is sacred ground, a place where God does his finest work? The truth is, solitude is where real transformation happens. It's where you hear God's whisper clearly because all the other noise is finally gone. It's where your soul stops performing and starts listening. Life is filled with endless demands, countless voices telling you who you should be, what you should want, and how you should live. But when you're alone with God, all of that fades away. No more pretending, no more striving, no more noise. Just you and the one who formed you in secret. It's in these moments that God can strip away the layers the world forced on you. It's here that he reveals the man he always intended you to become, a man of strength, humility, and unshakable faith. Solitude invites you into a deeper relationship with God. There's no one else to impress, no one else to perform for, just your heart laid bare before the one who already knows you fully and loves you completely. In the quiet, you will confront parts of yourself you never wanted to face, your fears, your insecurities, your doubts. But don't be afraid. This isn't to break you. It's to heal you. It's to refine you. It's to prepare you. God isn't intimidated by your weaknesses. He meets you right there and begins to build you up into the man you were always meant to be. If you believe that solitude is where God is shaping your destiny, type "I am being refined" in the comments. Solitude isn't just a place of reflection, it's a place of revelation. When the distractions are stripped away, when the applause stops, when the busyness fades, you can finally hear what God has been trying to whisper to your heart all along. His voice cuts through the silence like a sharp sword, speaking truth, wisdom, and direction you would have missed in the noise. In the stillness, he doesn't just show you what's wrong, he shows you who you really are. He reveals the calling, the purpose, and the power that he has placed inside you from the very beginning. In solitude, something shifts inside you. You stop trying to control every outcome. You stop fighting for the approval of people who were never meant to define you. Instead, you start surrendering. You open your hands and say, "God, I trust you more than I trust my own plans." In that surrender, that's where the real transformation begins. You realize that God's plans are better, higher, and infinitely more beautiful than anything you could ever imagine on your own. Remember, solitude is not a sign of abandonment. It's a sign of preparation. God is refining you, strengthening you, and teaching you things now that you'll need later. He's building endurance where there was once weakness. He's building trust where there was once fear. He's building spiritual muscles you didn't even know you would need. And though it feels painful right now, it's producing something eternal inside of you, something that can never be taken away. Throughout history, the wilderness has always been the place where God forges greatness. Moses fled into the wilderness as a fugitive. David hid in caves while running for his life. Even Jesus withdrew to the desert before stepping into his public ministry. Each one of them was called, tested, and transformed in solitude. If they hadn't walked through that wilderness season, they wouldn't have been ready for the greatness God had prepared for them. And the same is true for you. The wilderness feels like a wasteland at first, a place where nothing grows, a place where you wonder if anything good can come from it. But look closer. It's not a place of death. It's a place of deep, unseen growth. It's the proving ground for destiny. It's the secret garden where God plants seeds of faith, courage, and perseverance that will later bloom in full view of the world. What feels like a season of loss is actually a season of divine preparation. If you're walking through the wilderness right now, don't despair. Lift your eyes. Look around you. God is right there with you. He's not punishing you. He's preparing you. He's doing a deep work in you that will bear fruit in time. The same God who met Moses at the burning bush, the same God who strengthened David in the caves, the same God who sent angels to minister to Jesus in the desert, that same God is ministering to you right now. If you trust that your wilderness is preparing you for greater things, type "I trust the process" in the comments. The wilderness is not a punishment. It's a preparation. It's where shallow roots are ripped out and deep foundations are planted. It's where quick fixes die and true character is born. In the wilderness, you learn to rely not on the fleeting strength of your own hands, but on the everlasting strength of God. It's in the absence of comfort that you discover the Comforter. It's in the absence of certainty that you find the solid ground of faith. And it's in the absence of answers that you encounter the one who is the answer. Think of Moses. Before he could stand before Pharaoh and declare, "Let my people go," he had to stand alone with God in the backside of the desert for 40 years. Had he skipped the wilderness, he would have missed the training ground for leadership that changed history. Think of David. Before he wore a crown, he wore a shepherd's cloak and learned to battle lions and bears in secret. Had he avoided the wilderness, he would have never been prepared to face Goliath. The wilderness is not a delay. It's a design. God uses the silence to sharpen your hearing. He uses the isolation to strengthen your heart. He uses the hardship to purify your motives. And when the time is right, he will call you forward, not half-formed, but whole, not insecure, but unshakable. What you are gaining now in secret will be the foundation for what you will carry in public later. Trust the process. God is building something inside of you that no storm can tear down. And here's the thing, the wilderness is not just about survival. It's about transformation. It's where God exchanges your fear for faith, your weakness for strength, your plans for his purpose. It's where he strips away what you thought you needed and replaces it with what you actually need. It's where you stop living for the approval of man and start living for the glory of God. And once you've been through the wilderness, you will never be the same. You'll be stronger, wiser, freer, ready for everything God has ahead for you. You see, the enemy wants you to believe that your wilderness means you've been abandoned, but God says your wilderness means you're being anointed. He's setting you apart. He's preparing you for battles and blessings you can't even imagine yet. And when you come out of this season, you'll understand why the fight was so fierce, why the silence was so deep, and why the fire was so hot. Because what God is about to do through you is greater than anything you've walked through to get here. So don't run from the wilderness. Embrace it. Let it do its work. Because when a man has no one but God, he's not empty. He's finally full. He's not lost. He's finally found. He's not defeated. He's finally ready. If you believe your wilderness is shaping you for greatness, type "I am being prepared" in the comments. In the darkest moments, when despair feels heavier than your own body and the night seems endless, it's easy to wonder if you'll ever see light again. The weight of sorrow, failure, and exhaustion can press so hard against your chest that it feels impossible to breathe. But listen closely. Those moments of utter weakness are not your downfall. They are your doorway. They are the place where God's greatest strength is about to break through. Many people are taught to hide their weakness, to put on a brave face, to pretend they're fine when their soul is falling apart. But God doesn't despise your weakness. He invites you to bring it to him. His word says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. Notice that it's in weakness, not in strength, that his power shows up in its greatest form. When you fall to your knees, broken and spent, that's when heaven leans in closest. Society tells you strength is about pushing through, about standing tall on your own, but God's kingdom teaches something far more beautiful. True strength is found in surrender. True power is discovered when you finally say, "God, I can't do this without you." That's when his Spirit lifts you. That's when his grace becomes more real than anything you can touch or see. That's when you stop relying on your own effort and start moving by divine power. Look at Paul, one of the greatest men to walk the earth, and yet he admitted his struggles. He admitted his thorns, and he didn't hide them in shame. He wore them as testimonies of God's goodness, because he knew that every time he reached the end of himself, he touched the beginning of God's limitless strength. It wasn't Paul's perfection that changed the world. It was his dependency on God's power through his imperfections. If you're feeling broken today, remember, God's strength shines brightest through broken vessels. If you're feeling small, you're in the perfect position for God to do something massive. If you're feeling tired, weary, and worn out, you are exactly where grace can step in and carry you the rest of the way. You don't have to fake strength you don't feel. You don't have to manufacture courage out of thin air. All you have to do is lean into God, and he will be more than enough. If you're trusting God's strength to carry you through your weakness, type "He is grace is my power" in the comments. There will be seasons when you cry out to God, and all you hear back is silence. No thunder, no earthquake, no clear answer, just silence. And in those moments, the enemy will try to whisper, "See, God doesn't care. God isn't listening." But that is a lie. God's silence is never his absence. His silence is his sacred way of drawing you deeper, building something inside of you that the noise of the world could never create. We live in a world obsessed with instant results, instant gratification, instant success, instant answers. But God operates on eternal timing. His delays are not denials. His silences are not rejections. They are invitations. Invitations to trust. Invitations to wait. Invitations to believe even when your eyes see nothing and your heart feels empty. It's easy to believe when the answers come quickly. But real faith is born when you still believe in the silence. The Israelites cried out for years in Egypt, wondering if God had forgotten them. Joseph sat in prison for crimes he didn't commit, asking when his dreams would come true. Even Jesus, the Son of God, cried out in agony, my God, why have you forsaken me?" But in every one of those stories, the silence was not the end. It was the setup. It was the sacred space before the breakthrough. It was the quiet before the victory. When God is silent, he's not ignoring you. He's preparing you. He's lining up people you haven't met yet. He's setting in motion miracles you can't see yet. He's building strength in your spirit that you'll need for the battles ahead. His silence is not a punishment. It's a strategy to make you stronger, to deepen your roots, to stretch your faith until it's unbreakable. And one day, when the doors finally swing open, when the promises are fulfilled, when the prayers you thought he forgot are answered, you'll look back on this season of silence and thank him. You'll see that he was working the whole time, that he was closer in the silence than you ever realized, that his love never left you, not for a moment. So if you find yourself in that quiet place today, don't lose heart, don't walk away, lean in even closer. Hold on to his promises even tighter, because the silence is never wasted. It's sacred, and it's preparing you for something greater than you can even imagine. If you trust that even in silence, God is moving for you, type "God is still working" in the comments. There will come a time in every person's life when they reach the very edge of themselves, when the strength to keep going is run dry, when the plans, the backup plans, and even the prayers seem to echo into emptiness. It's a sacred moment. Not because it feels good, but because it is real. It's the moment when the illusion of self-sufficiency shatters and you realize it's always been God, only God. In those moments, grace doesn't just show up. It rushes in. God's grace is not a fragile thing. It is fierce. It is strong enough to carry you when your legs give out, to lift you when you collapse under the weight of sorrow, to sustain you when every part of you wants to give up. God's grace is the miracle that meets you exactly where you are, not asking for strength you don't have, but offering strength you could never muster on your own. Paul understood it well. When he pleaded with God to remove the thorn in his flesh, God didn't promise him an easy way out. He promised him something better. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9, Paul realized that his greatest strength wasn't in being strong. It was in admitting he was weak and letting God's power rest on him. And that same grace is resting on you right now. You are not failing because you are struggling. You are not disqualified because you feel weak. You are not abandoned because you feel tired. You are exactly where grace can reach you. You are exactly where strength beyond your own is about to lift you. You are exactly where God loves to show his power most clearly, not in the polished, not in the perfect, but in the real, the broken, the surrendered. This is the moment when everything can change, not because you became strong enough, but because you stopped trying to be strong alone. You opened your hands, you said, "God, I need you," and heaven heard you. Heaven is responding to you. Heaven is moving on your behalf, even now. God's grace doesn't just help you survive. It transforms you. It turns sorrow into songs. It turns graves into gardens. It turns brokenness into breathtaking beauty. So today, if you find yourself at the end of yourself, know this: you're exactly where new life begins. You're standing on the threshold of breakthrough, and when you rise, and you will rise, you'll carry a strength the world can't explain. You'll walk in a peace that confusion can't touch. You'll hold a testimony that will set others free. And when they ask, "How did you survive?" you'll smile and say, "I had no one but God, and he was more than enough." If you believe that God's grace is carrying you right now, type "His grace lifts me" in the comments. And if this message touched your heart, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today.